Yes, Jets fans, welcome back to the Underdog Jets podcast on this day of the first OTA practice. Actually, it might be the second, but it was the first day that the media was there to see. And, it was interesting driving up one Jets drive. I kept thinking, man, there are more than a couple people here. It was crowded. There were a lot of people. I wasn't around for the Tebow days, for the Favre days, but I asked a bunch of people, and this kind of feels a little different because it happened earlier. Favre happened in August, but the day didn't kind of go according to plan. Rodgers left a little early. We'll discuss that. And here with me is number 80, Wayne Chrebet. Wayne, what did you think about today's happenings based on what you've seen?
From what I saw, I mean, there's obviously a lot of excitement. It's been building since the signing and obviously through the draft. But yeah, it's a shame that you didn't really get to see him out there in the field today because the expectations are so high. But as a vet, you're in there if you feel any kind of tweak or something like that, you kind of like just throw your baseball hat on and sit on the side. So I wouldn't be too concerned about it.
Yeah, folks, we were watching and they were just going through their pre-practice stretches and then conditioning. And he got through the stretches. Zach Wilson was tied to his hip during the stretches the whole time. And then I saw him leave the conditioning. They were doing a little, I don't know what you would call it, but conditioning with the one of the heavy balls, and the whole team partook, and Rodgers partook too. And some people were thinking that's not a great idea. He's a 39-year-old guy, take it easy. But he wants to be all in. And you don't think you're going to get hurt doing that. But he just felt a little tweak in the calf, and it wasn't a big deal. But I saw him jog into the facility. So it's not like he was hurt to the point where he couldn't even run. He was still jogging. He jogged
Nah,
into the facility and afterwards said he decided to take a vet day, veteran day. So it's
yeah.
not a big deal. Don't jump off a cliff. Not even close.
You can't get too hurt on quarter speed or whatever it is. But yeah, that's one thing you don't want to mess with as a quarterback is I don't know which calf it was, but yeah, I mean, I can imagine the amount of media was there and the fanfare. Like you said, I wasn't there for the Tebow days, but I remember I've never seen so many media for a backup or third string quarterback when
Oh,
Tebow was there.
yeah.
So actually, this is probably like that, but with a for real, for real bona fide star. And I think just more and more people are going to come out just to see what he can do.
Yeah. Listen, if you're the media going there, you want to see Rodgers mainly. You want to get the first glimpse of him, but you want to see him
Yeah,
mainly in 7-on-7s.
right.
That's the star of the show. You can't really take videos or pics. You got to limit that. You can't discuss coverages and stuff, but that's what you want to see. And we
Yeah,
couldn't see that today. But on the other side of the token, Zach Wilson ran with the ones and looked pretty good. He
yeah.
looked decent. And, there were still some troubling signs where he's afraid to make a throw or he's checking it down when he shouldn't. He's not going through reads the proper way. But overall, I'm nitpicking. Overall, he looked pretty good and he looked freer. Like the
Let me
weight of
say,
the world was off his shoulders.
what is it? May what? May 23rd, and
Yep.
we're judging Zach Wilson's progress from
Absolutely.
last
Come
year.
on
No,
now.
listen, the thing about going to see Aaron in person, it's the kind of thing where you're going to really notice the difference in passes and touch and speed and tight spiral from someone like Aaron Rodgers than to someone like a Zach Wilson. You see it on the highlights, you see it on TV, but when you see it in person, you're going to see how special his arm is, how he just drops in there. But Zach's got dog. Zach's got no pressure on him. He's not going to have any pressure on him from now till he ever has to game plan if he has to be in there. So I expect him just to be able to come along slowly, enjoy learning behind Aaron. So this should be an easy camp and OTAs and all that till the season starts.
I mean, isn't that the thing with Wilson too? It's just he put too much pressure on himself.
Yeah. Well, he he kind of put a mark on his back to say, look at me, I'm doing my job. I'm not worried about anything. And then finally people realize you're not doing your job. And he had to be accountable. And at that point, like you said, he lost all his confidence. He lost the locker room. So he gets to reboot. and start fresh. And yeah, I hope he learns a lot, because one day this might be his team again to control.
Yeah, a couple highlights today. He found Garrett Wilson down on the left sideline for 40, 50-yard play. I think it was DJ Reed he beat, but I'm not sure. So apologize to DJ Reed if that's not the case. But the call out is it was a great throw, and he read the coverage right. Like there was no threat of too deep, like an over the top safety.
Right.
So I mean that's good news right there. I mean he put up some good splash plays today.
Yeah, listen, if you want to make it easy and you have Garrett Wilson one on one, close your eyes, know where he's going to be, just throw it, and the kid's going to make a play for you. So, take the low hanging fruit, I guess you could say. So, yeah, it's fun, it's exciting to talk about it. Like I said, it's May 23rd, but everybody wants to see Aaron Rodgers and see these new draft picks. How did I saw your article at the number one pick, McDonald,
McDonald's.
look fast out there.
He's fast. He's really
Yeah,
fast, and the D line group, they were the highest tempo group in individuals. They were getting after it. The coach was really, really screaming it up. And McDonald's is fast. He looks a little smaller than I thought he'd look, but that's okay. Like
yeah,
he's gonna be with Huff, that sub package at the end to get the quarterback on passing situations.
yeah. They're just gonna stick them too, and Jermaine Johnson. Yeah, people. I know we talked about it, but people were like surprised. Was it a good pick or not? Just because they hadn't heard the name. I think right away the impression was that this guy was, somebody nobody else was looking at. But if you see the game film and the statistics, and you can't have enough, edge rushers like that. So I don't know. I think Lawson redid his contract too, right?
Yep, Lawson redid it, and they got more cap space. I think they
Yeah,
tripled their cap space from doing that.
yeah. So I mean, these young kids, they're gonna come in there and they're just gonna be firing out at the quarterback. So yeah, I think the draft went really well. It got better as it went, but I think this guy is going to be a great player, and obviously Tippmann's going to be a great player for the next decade as a starter in the league.
Yeah, I saw Tippmann out there today, and I made a mention to somebody that man, he just looks like the perfect prototype center. And he's like, "What? He's 6'6". Isn't that tall for a center?" And
Is he 6'6"?
yeah, that's what I said too. I knew he was 6'6", but I forgot he doesn't look 6'6". He carries it really well, so
Yeah.
he just
Think about
fits.
this. What? How tall is Zach?
6'2" and change.
Okay. Now, how tall was like I don't even, this is a stupid question maybe. How tall you think the centers were for a guy like Drew Brees or Russell Wilson? I
That's a
think
good
purposely
question.
they had smaller centers for a guy like that.
Ah,
6'6" is big
that
to
is
look over
big.
the top of.
That is big, and Rodgers isn't the tallest guy either in the world.
Yeah.
He's not short by any means either, but he's pretty much Wilson's height, if I remember correctly.
What
I
is
know
this? The Jets
Breeze.
features?
Yeah, yeah. I know Breeze with the Saints. They always made sure they had really good interior linemen, but I don't know about the
Yeah.
height. That's a good call out.
Yeah.
When you talked about Garrett Wilson, I thought of FanDuel and sports books right away because when Rodgers came over, these sports books made Jets categories. That's how much money was getting
Yeah.
thrown in there.
Right.
How many yards is Garrett Wilson gonna tally this year? I don't even know where to begin to project that, to be honest.
Well, I mean, Lazard's coming in. I mean, Elijah's gone. We still have Corey Davis, right?
Still have Corey Davis. Yep.
I know, Garrett. I mean, he's going to get his yards, man, and they're not going to be able to focus on him. I think Lazard's going to have a great year too. He
Oh,
could be a later round pickup, but I know the win totals up there. In the Jets to win the East, Jets to make the playoffs. Jets to win 10 games. So, yeah, you might want to throw a couple bucks on these things, or maybe when the whispers came that we're going to get Rodgers, you should have thrown some money on there.
yep. Yeah. I think they're sixth
Yeah.
right now to win the Super Bowl in the whole NFL, which is absurd.
In the NFL or the AFC?
I think in the NFL. Let's check it out. I know in the AFC East they're number 2, right behind Buffalo. Miami's trailing them. Let's see.
While you're
Super
looking at that, I
Bowl.
want to look at the questions. Someone made a comment.
Yeah.
Uh,
They're tied for 6th with Dallas to win the Super Bowl.
I hear New York Jets super fan. Some players look good in practice but can't play on Sundays, especially days like this. The OTAs, we call that the underwear Olympics
Yes.
because guys look all pro out there in shorts and t-shirts, and then the pads go on and things change, and then you start hitting and things change even more. So yeah, people could look good right now, and Zach doesn't have people bearing down on him.
That's the key.
So they should be doing what they're doing. He should be doing that. But it'd be interesting once the pads come on.
Yeah, that's the key. I felt like a real jerk raining on everyone's parade. Hey, Zach's always been good in 7-on-7. There's no legit pass rush coming at him, but hey, good day. We'll see if he can build upon it. But yeah, Jets are tied with Dallas, 6th best odds to win the Super Bowl, which is just insanity.
Dallas, I mean, if I had to put money, I don't care if I wasn't a Jet or a Dallas fan, I would put money on the Jets before I put it on Dallas.
Yeah, me too.
Mawai was Pennington center. Yeah. Mawai wasn't the biggest guy, but he was a beast. How about Garrett Wilson, 100 catches? He wasn't far off.
17 games too.
It's going to be different because they're not going to be down every game where they have to throw as much as they did. I think his catches will be more meaningful.
Yeah, his yards
and stuff like that. He's going to be, crazy stat. At least 1,000 yards. I can see Lazard getting close to 1,000 too.
Yeah, there's one here. Look at this.
1,100.
Look at this. Lazard to score 10 plus touchdowns, plus 250. Would you take that one?
Listen, plus 250. I mean, 10. I don't know what he's had in his career, but
I don't think he's ever gotten to 10.
I mean, he had Devontae, but I mean, it's them too. And you think about it, Rodgers throws a lot to tight ends too in the red zone.
He does. And Lazard might play the slot. He might be their top slot guy, but we'll see.
Yeah, with Tanyan and Mercedes Lewis over the years.
Lazard's high point is 8 touchdowns in 2021.
Okay, well, it's possible.
It's possible. It's a tough one. But the 250 is not bad.
Yeah. Someone wrote, "Oh, hello from Wall, New Jersey." Yeah, that's right down here.
What is it? Wall,
New Jersey. It's down here.
WALL.
They got like these funny car races in the Wall Stadium down here by me.
Oh,
really? You ever see the funny cars and like the jet fuel cars?
Yeah, I know what they are, but I've never heard of Wall, New Jersey.
Wall, New Jersey. Yeah, it's right down here, going towards the the beach, Point Pleasant.
Gotcha.
All right, John Hassel says, "I bet Davis has more catches and yards than Lazard." Seriously, no, I don't. I mean, I understand why he would say that, but Davis, doesn't catch it. Balls. I mean, he drops the routine ones, makes fantastic catches, but Lazard's his guy. Lazard's Rodgers' guy. He asked for him by name, so he's going to feed him. When all else fails, he's going to look for him. He's comfortable with them. So I'm not too keen on Davis having crazy stats, but he'll certainly contribute to the passing game.
Yeah, and the tight ends. Don't forget about the tight ends. Conklin, Uzama, the rookie.
All right, Wayne, has anyone ever asked you who was the best quarterback you ever played?
That's a good question.
Pro or college? Well, college, I couldn't name one. And if I can name them, that means I burned them. So that's the only reason I would know their name. But as far as
the Flying Dutchman,
actually, I ran into a guy who played for Lehigh at a Catholic University game, my son's game. He remembered playing against me at Lehigh freaking 25 years ago.
Hofstra played Lehigh?
What's that?
Hofstra played Lehigh?
Yeah, my senior. Yeah, he said, he remembered like everything about the game. I thought it was hysterical, but yeah, it was good game. But as far as the pros, yeah, I always said, Rod Woodson was tough. I didn't play against him a lot. He's towards the end of his career, but just great, long arms, smart, knew your splits, knew your releases. But Charles Woodson,
yeah,
played against him a lot, and Ty Law. Ty Law I played against.
How about Madison? What'd you
Moore.
think of Madison? Surtain? Was Surtain around too?
Sertain is who I went against more. He was
Yeah.
on, on the Z, but I did really well against the Dolphins guys
Yeah.
over my career. But the one guy I remember, Ted Cottrell was the defense coordinator, came from the Bills.
Yep.
Quick story. He said when he was there, he drafted Antoine Winfield to be a nickel back just to cover me twice a year. And now his son's in the league. How
Yep.
Playing for Tampa. How crazy is that? But the Woodsons and Aeneas Williams and Ty Law were certainly the best.
It's funny. The guys you mentioned are guys that had played both corner and safety.
Okay.
Most of them,
Yeah.
like both Woodsons, and that tells me something because they could play slot. They're versatile. They could do a lot of different things.
Yeah, Woodson just had these long arms. He was tall, and like I said, he had seen it all in his 15 years to know pretty much what you're doing. So he was a handful. What else we got? Lazard is better than Davis, not even close. I agree with that. I think Lazard hasn't hit his ceiling yet, or I think Davis is what he is at this point.
I agree, and both guys need to stay healthy. Like that's the main thing.
What about Lynch at safety? How good was he?
He played Lynch like once, right?
Lynch was he was coming, but I didn't play against him. Like guys like Rodney Harrison, he'd take your head off. But then when I first came in, guys like remember Henry Jones from Buffalo?
Yeah.
So I played against him twice a year, but Lawyer Malloy with the Ty Law back there and that package, those guys were bringing it.
Mm-hmm. And Lynch, the only game I could think of when you guys played Lynch was the Curtis Martin halfback toss to you to win the game.
Yeah, so I didn't play against him much. I don't know. I can't think of anybody really else. I mean, Atwater. I mean, I didn't play. I played with him, but I played against him twice. You had to know where he was when you came out there. That was the biggest hitter I've ever seen at the safety position.
When you lay out Christian Okoye the way he did, you head on a swivel.
Did you ever hear the game film? What that sounded like?
Yes. It's scary, actually.
You know what's weird? It's like, for everybody listening, you'll get this analogy. When Atwater hit Okoye, what it did to Okoye is kind of like once Tyson got knocked out
by Buster Douglas,
and got hit. It just wasn't the same.
Yeah,
I'm not saying Tyson didn't go on to win a lot of things, but it was just that invincibility of Okoye. That no man could take it, one man could take him down. It kind of like that. Just Okoye was never the same after that. Just like Tyson was never the same after he lost to Buster Douglas.
Yep. No, it's true. And that works with injuries too. Like even if the injury's not the thing that slows them down, it's the brain that does, it's like that mental aspect.
What else we got? Game was so different back then. Going across the middle must have been so scary.
Yeah, there was
scary, but different. Yeah, I mean, like you had to have your head on a swivel, but there was no such thing as one, you can't hit high or low now, but the defenseless receiver rule, that wasn't a thing. Not even close to being a thing. I mean, they would hit you even if the ball wasn't to you. So, it would have been nice to have the rules how they are now. I might still be playing.
And they had legal contact back in your day, but they didn't enforce it ever.
No. They could ride you 10 yards down the field
easily. Today's safeties are more cover safeties. Like an Atwater, a Lynch, it would be tough to survive today.
Ronnie Lott, those guys, you know what I mean? They'd be getting 15-yard penalties and being fined every week by the NFL.
Jack Tatum, going back even further.
John Haslett, Hostage training camp memories are some of the favorite childhood team memories. I have an autograph from Wayne for his rookie year on a training camp program and a green number 80 jersey. Appreciate it. Yeah, that was back in the day, man. I keep going back and forth on how long ago that was. Was that 95, dude? Was that 28 years ago?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's freaking crazy.
28 years ago.
It's crazy. At 95. Fall of 95. I was in 7th grade.
I'm gonna amaze you, Abraham Furman. Have you ever been diagnosed with a concussion?
Mm,
I have 13 uh, diagnosed concussions
and
that
that's just
were
diagnosed. That's just diagnosed.
diagnosed. So
Yeah.
to let you know, there's more than that.
Oh,
That's not getting your bell rung. That's like being out. You know what I mean? And my last one, I was, unconscious for. That was the worst one, and that kind of ended it. But I had 13 documented. Um, to the end of my career, it was a couple years where I had 2 weeks in a row, which at that point they didn't say were compounded, which was a lie, but who knew at that point? But that ended my season. I was put on IR. So yeah, I have been diagnosed, and they're trying to do whatever they can. But back then, like now, you go in the blue tent, you go in the locker room, you go protocol. Back then, it was just, how do you feel? Good. All right, go in. Like
yeah.
someone like me is not going to say, "Hey, I can't play," because someone would take my job. So yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. I'm dealing with it. I wouldn't have played any other way.
Yeah. Abraham, go back and listen to some of our old podcasts. Wayne details some of them. The last one, the first one, pretty good stories.
Yeah. So, hi. Well,
We have a guest.
yeah. Hold on. Yeah, I'll text. Sorry, I answered it. But yeah, I mean, what they're doing now is the right thing, but they're never going to completely be able to avoid it. But
No, not
it is.
completely, but they've done a good job. I mean,
Yeah,
it,
listen,
it,
the
it
numbers are
sucks.
down. Yeah,
Some of the
technology, new helmets, new rules, but guys are still getting faster and bigger, so it's going to happen.
yeah. Um, New York Jets superfan asks about Becton's comments. Not sure why he would bring that up now. Yeah, there was some issues with Becton. I don't know if he specifically blamed the Jets training staff, but he told them that he didn't want to play right tackle because it was his right knee that got hurt. And you know what? Wayne was the first one on this.
Yeah,
I remember when it happened. He's like, "Man, do we want him to play right tackle because it was his right knee that got hurt? Maybe he's better at left tackle because he's pushing off."
yeah, I
Uh,
knew right away. I was like, I wanted to know, which one it was. I knew,
yes,
just not being familiar with it, and his body just wired one way. That's
right,
how he's always been. But
right,
I'm curious of the circumstances of when he answered this and why and how it was asked and stuff like that. And it might be making a big point. I don't know, because there's been times when things were printed months after I said them, or you don't know how it's asked. So listen, he's not rocking the boat. You know what I mean?
yeah,
He's a team player. You know what I mean? He's doing everything he can to get back on the field. So there's no hard feelings there.
yeah.
They're fine. That relationship is fine.
Yeah, I would say whoever asked that question, just keep it open ended because the Ty Johnson stuff came out too. And listen, it's football. It's just the way it is. Contracts are not guaranteed, and
Yeah.
he was a fringe player anyway. So it is what it is. The players, his former teammates, will have his back. The organization is not trying to do anything malicious.
Right. No.
It's just a business.
No. Jonathan Richter, Garrett Wilson will get over 1,500 yards, breaking Brandon Marshall's record. It's
Yeah.
possible. Listen, this kid's legit, and I knew that when the draft came, that he got more separation by far than any other.
Then London. Yeah, we were going back and forth
More than
between
London.
London.
He was just a 50-50 guy, but Garrett
Yeah.
Wilson, man, he could run some routes.
Yes.
He's put his name in the conversation of one of the top up and coming receivers. He's not there yet, but he is well on his way. Being one of the tops. Period.
Yeah.
No matter how many years in the league.
By the time the season ends, after this season, he could be right there.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this puppy up here. A couple more notes from today. Sauce didn't really partake too much. It's one of those things. I don't know if he's hurt. It was kind of undisclosed. I didn't get through all the transcripts afterwards, but not a big deal. He did some conditioning. I saw Brees Hall on the side in the training area. He was playing catch with Garrett Wilson and Michael Carter a little bit. Speaking of Lazard, he got rocked over the middle, and I missed who the safety was. It might have been Ashton Davis, I'm not sure, but he got rocked, was on the floor for about 30 seconds to a minute, but then was fine. Even tweeted afterwards, said, "Hey, I'm fine. I even came back. Hey, media, why didn't you report that I came back?"
Gotcha.
So, it was kind of uneventful. But other than the Rodgers stuff, Rodgers going out, not playing in teams and 7-on-7 kind of made it uneventful. But
Gotcha. You see the kid playing soccer in the back?
no, what was it? I
You don't
turned off
see
the
in the
thing.
back?
Oh
That's
yeah, yeah, what's going on there?
I don't know. He's doing pretty good. Here a couple things I'm curious about. Quan Alexander, what's going on with him? Is he coming back?
No one knows. No one has heard anything. I haven't heard anything. I'd still bet that yes, he is,
That was
because
Jackson
I
Yellow.
think he would have signed on already, if not.
And then another one was Jonathan Ritter. Chuck Clark. Tell me about him. I thought he was a good addition. I loved the film I saw on him.
Yeah, he's a good addition as a standalone guy. The only questions I have is how are he and Whitehead going to work together? Because they're both more of the strong safety type.
Yeah.
They're not Atwater. No one's Atwater or Lynch, but you got to cover. But they're not that high ranging east to west safety. So how are they going to work that out is a big question right now for me. But yeah, I like
What
Chuck Clark.
what about the tight end they got in the last round?
I don't
Anything?
know. I haven't seen enough. Haven't seen enough
Yeah.
of him yet. But I love it. I love the pick because of how deep tight end was in the draft.
Yeah.
So we'll
So
see.
yeah,
Him and Ruckert,
they still have Conklin and
Conklin, Uzuma.
Zoom. Yeah. Listen, those guys I said last year, two of my favorite pickups were them two. And they didn't have the year I expected, but I'm telling you, at least one of them, if not both, are gonna vastly, beat their numbers that they had this past year, especially in the red zone.
100%. They probably
Yeah.
both will with Rodgers. The other thing with safety, I just thought of, they really love Tony Adams, that young guy who's shockingly the undrafted rookie from last year, shockingly made the team. So they really love him. Maybe he wins a
What
starting job at
position?
free
What,
safety.
oh, okay. I didn't see him. I don't know.
Maybe he wins the job. We'll see. I know they really love him. Inexperience there, but there's a chance, you could play Chuck Clark at linebacker in certain nickel formations, but we'll see. They got to have another safety step up for a little balance.
All right. Well, good, good. Like I said, I wish we had, I love answering the questions, so we'll always do more live stuff. But I wish we had more to say about Aaron Rodgers. And you
Yeah.
always ask me to sum things up. Yes, it is exciting times. And people ask me, do I wish I was playing now? And the answer is yes, very much so. I'm very jealous of the team right now and the receivers there, and I think this team, they're on their way, man. If the chips fall the right way and healthy and all these different things, man, you know it's going to be a massive year for the Jets.
I agree. They're more talented than people think, than people even
Yeah,
think.
it's crazy right now. If you look, on paper, yeah, they're right up there as far as talent in the league.
Yep. All right. Rate and review at the Underdog Jets podcast on iTunes, Jets X Factor. Use discount code 80. And, away we go. Next media availability at OTAs is next Wednesday. So maybe we'll come back with a show next Wednesday night or Thursday night, one of those 2 days, and recap the next one.
All right, sounds good, man.
All right, Jets fans. Until next time.